Okay, this morning we're going to start on a segment B, part 8, I guess. We're going to call this segment B. I don't know how much we're going to get done, but we're going to continue on the crosshead guide for the displacer side of the engine. And as you recall, on segment A, we milled out a slot in the center of the 3/4 inch brass bar stock. So we milled that out to 392 thousandths of an inch width, the slot. So now what we're going to do is we're going to widen that slot at one end for a length of I think it's 470 thousandths. So just a short length, less than a half an inch. We're going to widen the slot. After that, we're going to change the end mill to a 3/8 end mill, and we're going to widen the upper part of the bar to 530 thousandths. That's what we're going to widen that section, that 470 thousandths. We're going to widen that to 530 thousandths also. So at this point, I'll head over to the computer, and we'll take a look at what we're going to do quickly, and then we'll come back to the shop and do the milling. So like I say, I don't know how far we're going to get on this, but hopefully we'll keep going back to the computer, and hopefully my descriptions will get better as time goes on, just as this little part evolves. So with that, let's head to the computer and take a look at it. Okay, this morning we're going to start on segment B, part 8 of the crosshead guide. And in the last segment, we milled out the center of the bar. And I'm looking here at AutoCAD. This is the bar, okay? And it's 3/4 of an inch in diameter. And we milled out a portion in the center of it with a 1/4 inch end mill, and we widened that slot out to 392 thousandths for a distance of about 208 inches. Okay, so actually this thing is in the rotary table, and basically we're milling out the bottom portion right now. So that is where the rotary table is set at 0. When we start milling out the top of this, we'll rotate the rotary table 180 degrees. So anyway, at this point, we're going to mill out a little section up in front here, keeping the orientation the same as it was. We're going to mill out a section that's 470 thousandths long, which is from this point here and to the front of it. Actually, this is the rear of the displacer guide in reality. So this will be the rear. So 470 thousandths, we're going to mill a little bit wider. We're going to mill it out to 530 thousandths. Originally, the center portion of this thing we milled out to 392 thousandths. So now we're going to mill out a little section that's wider. Basically, we're opening up this whole thing from this point all the way to the rear. So the rear end will be basically open except for a little section up here at the top. I know this is really hard to perceive, but here's an end view of it, or not an end view, but a section. So we're going to be completing this little portion right here. Let's see now, this, if I have this drawn correctly, let's see here. Yeah, see, this part is 530 thousandths wide, okay? And the part that we milled yesterday was 392 thousandths wide. So we're basically going to put this little notch in here and finish off this section up here. So after that, we're going to be changing the end mill from a 1/4 inch end mill to a 3/8 end mill, and we're going to be doing the same thing for this little area right here. We're going to be widening that out all the way back. So we're just doing the rear of it right now, 470 thousandths. So that's what we're going to be doing this morning on the mill. So let's get to it. We'll head for the shop and we're going to get that done. I've determined that the point here where I need to start milling back 470 thousandths. So I'm doing that now, and we'll go back to the computer again and go over this. But that's where I'm at now. I've determined that I need to mill 140 thousandths each side of center. That's the 71 thousandths that I milled previously from center, and another 69 thousandths to get to 530 thousandths width here. So I've done on one side and I'm going to do it on the other, and I've determined that I can actually make the cut in basically 2 passes. So I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to go out 140 thousandths according to the DRO, and then back to determine the amount. I'm having to deduct for half the diameter of the cutter all the time. So I had to do this on CAD to figure out exactly what I needed, exactly what the numbers and dimensions were. So right now I'm going to go back across and we'll start cutting pretty quick here. And I'm going to go out to 140 thousandths this side of center. Then I'm going to take it pretty easy. Then we'll check it to make sure that we're where we need to be. I'm taking a pretty healthy cut here. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit too much. Okay, there's 140,000. I'm reading the DRO. I've got to go to 345 thousandths after I've deducted the radiuses. This is a little tricky, to say the least. And I had to actually re-zero the DRO in the y-axis, so I'll have to set it up again, maybe. And I'm gonna make one more pass across the end once I get to 345. This end is completely open, so in reality this doesn't make much difference, but I'm trying to figure out exactly where I need to be here. So we're headed for 345. I got another little bit to go here. I'll give you another camera angle of this when I get done. Okay, there we are at 345. 140. Okay. I'll go back to 0. Center 0. Center of the bar. Okay, I'm at the center of the bar, and well, let's just shut her off here. Clean it out. Looks good. Let's hope, huh? All right. Let's see. I'm not sure I can get my measuring tools in there. Yeah, I think so. Oh, this is not going to do it. I need a bigger. This may not work. Yeah. That's, I got the bottom at 0. Maybe what we need to do is go up, get out of there, come back to it again. This won't reach. This one here. We're at 533 thousandths, so that's pretty close. I think we'll probably be okay. It's a little difficult to measure. So now what we're going to do, let me give you another camera angle on that, and see if I can do that. Now that gives you a little better idea of what we've done there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change the cutter to a 3/8 cutter, and we're going to get back to the 0 position that we were originally at, and we got to go down 275 thousandths from the top here, and we're going to have to cut a slot or a rabbet on this edge and this edge down 275 thousandths, and it needs to be the same width as what we just milled this end out. So that's the next step. So that gives you an idea of what we have to do. So before that, we'll take a look at the computer, and we'll add that to this segment and that'll probably be enough for this segment. It's going to be getting too long, so I didn't show all the milling of this offset here, but you know, you get the idea. So anyway, with that, I'll call off, and we'll come back after I get the 3/8 cutter mounted in there. Okay, we've got the cutter in there, and we've set the depth to 275 thousandths, and the cutter is still, the center is still at the same location, so we've got that zeroed. And so we've got to go out that 275 thousandths down. We got to widen it out to 530 thousandths, the same as this is. By the way, I rechecked this, and we're within 1/1000th, so we're pretty close on that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fire up the mill, and we're going to try to make this cut, and I'm going to try to do it in one pass. So I've deducted the size of the cutter, and it is a cutter that hasn't been sharpened, so it should be 0.375, 3/8 of an inch, and the where we want to go is 530. So I've subtracted those and divided by 2, so we got to go 77.5 thousandths each side of center. And what this does, the reason for the 3/8 cutter is we're going to create a different radius at this end down here on each side. So instead of a 1/8 inch radius, we're going to create a 3/16 inch radius on either side, or a 3/8 diameter. So for whatever reason, that's the plan. So, and we're going to bring this cutter just so it touches here. Now I don't know where that is. I haven't experimented with that, but we're going to do that, and we're going to set the x-axis there. So here we go. And this will be the end of this. This will be the conclusion of this segment. So I'm just going to bring that up till I touch off there. There we are. I'm going to we're going to zero these there. And now we're going to move the y-axis 77.5 thousandths to one side. Okay. We're Klein milling. Okay, that's it. Okay, we're going to come back to 0 and go to the other side. I'm watching the DRO very carefully at this point. Okay, we're there. Now we're going to go 77.5 thousandths on the other side. So there we are. Now we're going to mill out the other side. And this will be a conventional cut. When we rotate this thing 180 degrees, we'll kind of be doing basically the same thing as we're doing now. This actually creates a internal track for another part to run on. That would be the displacer push rod, I guess. By the way, the calculations seem to come out exactly right. We came out perfectly flush with what we previously cut down at the end, the 530,000. I'm taking it very easy on this cut, because the conventional milling cut isn't quite as smooth as the ply milling cut was. It's not, I don't have vibration, but I can feel something a little different in the hand wheel. So it's telling me to take it easy here. When I get done with this cut, we'll move the camera angle around and take another look at it. And this will be, I think this is the final cut on this side right now. But we're going to be spinning the rotary table 180 degrees to the other side, I'm guessing. I'm just doing this step by step per the instructions, so I haven't read that far. That's the end of the cut. Probably ought to vacuum these tips out of here rather than blow them out. But I need to clean up this edge a little bit. I can probably just do it with my fingernail right now. Looks beautiful. A little deburring here and there, I suppose, but it's almost like a nice clean cut. I don't know if we'll be able to see that with a camera or not, but I think we can move the y-axis back to 0. And then we can move the z-axis up. Get it out of the way. I don't feel anything in there. Little dinky nib there, but not much. we're pretty close to where we need to be. Let's move the camera angle around and take a quick look at it here. So there she be. I don't know how much we can zoom in on our cut, but so you can see there's a little nib right here, barely noticeable. And here's the ledge we created right here, okay? So when we create this same ledge on the opposite side of the bar, then we'll have a track in here, is what we're creating. This end becomes completely opened up. We're gonna rotate the table 90 degrees at some point and cut this all away here. I think it's a 1 inch diameter, half an inch radius that we're going to cut in there. I'll probably try to use a big end mill to do that. We can either use a big end mill, or I think the instructions mentions a fly cutter, but a 1 inch end mill would be the best way to do it probably. So anyway, with that, I'll call off on this segment, and hopefully that provides a little better explanation than the last one, and hopefully this whole thing will become more obvious as we proceed. With that, I'll call off. Thank you for watching.